Get Spiritual. I'm your host, Annie, and I'm here with my bestie, Ashley, and we'd love for you to join us as we discuss all aspects of spirituality and wellness. So sit back, take a breath, and let's get spiritual. Hello, welcome back to Let's Get Spiritual.
We're back.
Yes, season 2, bitches.
I was going to say bitches, but I didn't.
No, it's okay. Bitches. Bitches, we're back. I'm
Rusty,
excited.
so I don't want to curse too much or it's just going to flip.
It might happen. The topics that we're about to discuss are a little crusty,
Yeah.
but they're also like
there's a good and a bad,
spiritual,
just like everything.
Yep. So this first episode of the new season, we're going to talk about the ego versus the soul. So we're going to start out with some simple definitions. So ego is the part of the mind that mediates between the conscious and unconscious parts of ourselves and is responsible for our sense of personal identity. So it can also be defined as our sense of self-esteem or self-importance. I like to think of it as the part of ourselves that relates to all things material, like the physical aspects.
Yeah, I agree.
Then we have the soul. And that is usually defined as the immaterial part of a being, the part that exists beyond the material, beyond our flesh and bones, the emotional or intellectual energy about us.
Our higher selves.
Yeah. So we literally have both all the time.
I feel like the universe has been testing both of those sides of me for like 2 weeks now.
Actually, all of 2023, I think, has been
it's accurate.
Yeah.
It's accurate.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, I feel like anyone who's kind of been on a spiritual path, especially since like COVID, like this is the year where like first we were learning about it and then we're implying it. And now the universe is like, how well can you do?
It's like the longest year of my life. It's only February.
So one thing about ego is that it typically lives in fear and soul lives in love. So ego is that false sense of self, but it's still the sense of self.
Yeah.
And then soul, like you said, is your true higher self, like that best version of you that exists. Ego is kind of like low vibrational. So it's like
it's a fine
high vibing.
It's a fine line between being cocky and being confident. And I feel like that's a good kind of sum up of an ego.
Exactly. And I feel like there's just like always a push and pull of these two relationships. And that's basically what being a human is. Like, we realize that deep inside we are souls and spirits, but we're here in this human and we're here in this like human body having a human experience in material world with material things, even though it is kind of like illusionary and the grand aspect of things of being souls and just like vibration and energy. But right now I'm experiencing a human experience. Sometimes it sucks, but I know that my soul and like higher self is always living the best life. Sometimes
my soul right now is on a beach in Jamaica because my ego body self has Ohio lung and I'm freaking terrible. Weird cough still. Yeah, like no.
Yeah, we live too close to that. So we're gonna talk a little bit about what it looks like to be ego-centered, because like as a human, we do have limitations. We only see 5% of what actually exists, but we're limitless when we realize our souls are above that. Like our souls see 100% plus of what exists, but in this human life, it's just 5%. So being stuck in your ego or being ego-centered may look like overconfidence or too much self-importance.
Cockiness, confidence, the fine line.
Yes. Someone who's maybe like super materialistic, but like realizing your soul realizes that material things don't always make you happy. It's just some people get like too wrapped up in I need all these material things.
They just want the next shiny thing because they think it's going to fulfill something, where meanwhile your soul's like, hi, can you just pay attention?
Still dead inside.
That would make me feel better.
Yeah, someone who's ego-centered may also put their walls up emotionally. Like they don't tap into that like vulnerable side. They're too confident to have emotions. Like they just kind of repress that. So that's not always great. They always end up being worried about what other people think of them because it's so
they may try to make other people proud of them all the time.
Yeah.
It triggered.
Yeah. Someone who's ego-centered typically may live inauthentically or superficially.
It goes hand in hand with like the materialistic stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. But I also feel like on a personality aspect, that's where it's, if you're so materialistic, then that's inauthentic. Like being authentic is being vulnerable, is leaning into like the icky stuff.
True. Yeah. It's not being so surface level, because really that's all material stuff is.
Yeah,
it's surface level stuff.
Yeah. Maybe someone is controlling, too self-absorbed, narcissistic. They have the separation mentality where like they don't acknowledge the soul aspect, or they separate from just like people, races, identities. Like they're just like, no, I'm my own person. Like there's no like connectedness.
Yeah, there's no like unity and oneness.
Yeah. There's a lot of worries and doubt. They tend to take on that victim mentality, which is not great.
I feel like half of this episode is me just making a face of because ill.
Yeah, the ego can be very icky because again, it's just materialistic, but we're living in this human life where we have to embrace some of these aspects, but like not too far.
And I think that for better or worse, I know not everybody's like this, but I feel like there's a lot of people living this like ego mindset right now.
Yeah.
A lot.
And I think that's what the spiritual journey is about, is kind of, I've heard a lot of ego death in the spiritual community. And like, yes, in a sense, we do have to like kill our egos a little bit to open up to that spiritual side. We have to put those walls down, think of not just ourselves, but others.
And I don't even know if it's necessarily a killing of your ego, but being like keenly aware when your ego is kicking in and being able to be like, okay, girl, thanks for the advice, but I'm going to need you to get in that back seat because I'm driving and we are not trying to live that life.
That's exactly it. Because I don't really love the term ego death. Like, I don't like that, because I do think our ego is always going to be alive. And this is part of our human experience.
I mean, half of the things that I've been able to achieve these last few years alone is probably because my ego's like, girl, you can do this.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we'll talk all bad.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But we're kind of focusing on the being a little too far in that category.
You don't want to be in this group. If if you're listening to this and you're like, this feels like it fits me. Hi, we're not trying to judge you, but maybe
we're just making you aware.
That.
And that's the first step, is becoming aware of like, oh, maybe I am a little too far.
Maybe I'm a little bit living in the ego and not so much in the soul or in the nice in between.
Yeah. If you try to aim at all costs and will step on anyone below you to get up higher, check yourself.
Hard.
If you're destination focused, I know a lot of us are, it's really easy to remain focused on that destination, but you got to stay focused on each step there.
Yeah.
If you're too driven into that, you're missing the journey. And then when you get there, you're always chasing something.
Well, like you said, if you're stepping on people to get there, you are definitely on the wrong side of the line.
Yes. Yeah. So we want to talk on the flip side of what someone who's more soul-centered may look like. And this is more of like a balanced, soul-centered soul.
Yeah. Because when we were going over this, I've brought up the fact you can go too far on the other side too.
We're going to get into that too. But someone who's soul-centered may look like someone who enjoys the journey and not so much the destination. They like a little bit of the struggle on each step along the way. They realize that the soul is eternal and limitless. They feel abundance. They're not judgmental towards others and understand that everyone has their own journey. They're very considerate of others. They trust in the universe. They promote unity. They're very accepting. They create their own reality, and they realize the power that they have to create their own reality.
All about the mindset.
Yes. They let go of what they can't control. It's not always easy, but someone who's more soul-centered has an easier time doing that. They have a high level of integrity. That is definitely, I feel like someone who's really ego-centered has little to no integrity, maybe towards the things that really matter to them. And those are usually,
they probably just have it for the stuff that selfishly matters.
Well, that like serves them.
Yes.
And having integrity is not always about self-serving. It's about doing things at a high level of what's best for everyone.
Correct. Even if you gain nothing from it besides you helped someone.
Yes. Someone who's soul-centered tends to be more compassionate and full of wisdom, and they seek inner authenticity, and they're less worried about what other people think of them, which is also hard in this kind of society and like the way life has always been. But it's possible to kind of not give a shit, but it's also good to have a little bit
I was going to say, like, you should never not care what people think about. Like, well, I don't want to say that either because that sounds kind of toxic, but when you're driven so much by the opinions of others, that's when it's an issue. Like I definitely work towards making myself proud of me.
Yeah.
But like also
that's the only person that needs to be proud of you.
Thank you.
Sorry, triggered again.
God, we should have a little sidebar about this at the end because family is pushing it. But I lost my train of thought. Oh, sorry. Like I do good things and like I said, to be proud of myself, but like I'm happy when you're proud of me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I'm happy when people are like,
when they acknowledge you.
Yeah, but I'm not doing those things to hear someone say that.
Exactly. Like it's really weird to find this balance. And I think it's important to find that balance. But again, I also think it's easy to get stuck on one side more than the other. And that's okay if that's part of your journey, is to kind of be like, I'm a little selfish right now because for so long I was selfless and I wasn't putting my needs first. So like, I think when we talk balance, it's not always 50-50.
No.
Sometimes balance is 70-30 or 40-60 or 20-80. Like it needs to be able to fluctuate, and you need to be able to find that. And that just comes through self-awareness and acknowledging these parts of ourselves, looking within that ego death in a sense. Maybe not a full death, maybe just like, I don't know.
Again, just becoming aware of it and being able to check it. Like that's the biggest thing.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Or before you do it to me and I wreck you, because I am to a moment where I'm just like, listen. I definitely, self-awareness is something that you'd mentioned as well. And I'd like to take this as an opportunity to get slightly personal.
Yeah, go for it.
There's been a lot of changes in my career. And one of the things that I dealt with was working with someone that would tout their self-awareness, but they did literally nothing about it. It was like, I'm self-aware that this is how I am. But like, suck it up, buttercup. Like,
yeah, but like, just because you're aware of it doesn't mean that's the excuse to continue acting that way.
I literally told her this. And sometimes I'm just a wise ass and sometimes I'm wise while being an ass.
Those are really good. Yeah, that is a really good,
like you want to get to know me.
This is Ashley. You get sometimes both of those.
Sometimes both. And this time I was being a wise asshole. So she's like, oh, I'm so self-aware. It's like, listen. Self-awareness is like wiping before you go to the bathroom. You know what you're supposed to do, but you're still not doing it right.
That is like the perfect explanation I've ever heard of it.
Confused. She's like, I'm like, that's right. Sprinkled that. Where's the button? No. Sprinkled that little noise and walked away. Because my God, like.
It's
self-awareness without doing anything is so pointless.
It makes you more of a dick. Because if you're aware that you have some,
you keep doing it, you got a problem.
Now there's being self-aware and going, listen, I know that this is not the best part of me, and I know that it affects other people. I'm honestly working on it. If it comes out, I'm really sorry. Please make me aware of when it's happening so that I can continue to acknowledge it and work on it. But being just like, oh yeah, no, I'm an asshole. And then just still being an asshole.
Let me go be an asshole like, more.
Oh, wait, here's a moment where I was kind of a jerk and I'm going to apologize because I was triggered and I went back into the ways that I'm trying to move forward from. That's acknowledgement where there's growth, not just acknowledgement for just wiping before you use the bathroom.
Thank you. Pardon me. I need to sip something.
That's okay.
I have Ohio law.
Yeah, we live in Pennsylvania, far too close, even still.
Yeah, no, I literally it was a couple of days after everything happened. I woke up with a weird sore throat that came out of nowhere. We both
saw each other and she's like, oh, I have a sore throat today. I'm like, bitch, me too.
And I'm still croupy. Like I'm not sick, but like my throat gets scratchy. It kind of hurts once in a while. The other day, it just like felt swollen.
A lot of toxicity in our atmosphere and planet.
And you can't say it's my tonsils. I don't have them. Anyone who's like, oh, you probably have something. No, they're not there. So it's just straight up my throat.
No.
But yeah.
So we kind of want to discuss a little bit about what balance would look like, because it is hard to achieve it. Again, it's not 50-50 balance all the time. It's not going to be that way. I do think we need to learn how to accept those ego parts within ourselves and then realize which ones are toxic, or maybe it's turned up too high and we can turn that little ego part.
I just said I could be an asshole. I'm aware of her. And I try to check it.
You have been doing
come out when she needs to sometimes, because sometimes people just need to be reality checked. But then I put it back. So,
yeah. Like there's times where we do have to put our needs above others in some certain situations, but we can still do that with like soulful, loving intention where we're mindful and considerate of others as we're placing these needs first and not just being like, well, this is just how it's going to be.
Toxic.
Yeah. And like, if ego's our earthly identity, then we should embrace it and should take pride in it. Take pride in yourself. You know, fluff yourself up. Get your nails did. Whatever makes you feel a little bit good. But like, don't do that for anyone else but you, and making yourself feel like you're glowing. Like, yes, you can have an amazing glowing soul, but if you don't tap into that ego a little bit and glow yourself up too, like you want to radiate from the inside out.
Exactly.
And usually it does go hand in hand. When you feel good about yourself on the inside, it does glow, and you do kind of take more pride in yourself.
You take more pride in yourself.
But I feel like there's like a fine line there where there's like so many people, and women especially, are depressed about their appearance because there's so many like high and unrealistic expectations. Like, get that out of your mind. Do what feels good for you.
Exactly. Stop trying to find that external validation and start to validate how you are on the inside. You're a good person. If you're living through a scope of trying to always put your best self forward and to live in that filter of soul and that filter of spirituality, you're doing the best you can.
Our souls don't have these bodies. So I think everyone deals with a little bit of body dysmorphia. Even the most perfect of bodies have that. And quote, perfect. Everybody is perfect in my eyes, because that's just
if your body is still kicking and still getting you through things, it's pretty perfect.
It's great. And we need to embrace it. Like I do this a lot in my therapy sessions where we are mindful and doing some practices with our breath. I allow my clients to take a moment to give gratitude to their bodies for what it's doing to keep their soul and their meat suit alive.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like it's a beautiful thing. But I also think that some people can be like overactive in their spirit. And I want to talk about that a little bit.
What did I say? There's a difference between Gandhi and the guy that ran that cult where people drank juice. Yeah, drank juice and wore black sneakers. Yes.
Yeah. So there's like some spiritual and some religious communities that get that way sometimes, where they might feel just in generally super overwhelmed with humanity. And listen, the past few years, it's been easy to feel overwhelmed with humanity.
Don't fall into a cult, anybody.
No, I think that's where you have to look within. And even though everything's kind of crazy out there, it's like looking within and finding your own peace within.
I actually watched a documentary yesterday about I forget what the name of the group was, but it started out in a really beautiful, people were just tired of life and they wanted to live off the land, and it was totally hippie. Like if we were alive then, I would have had to watch you.
Yeah.
I might have lost you to this cult until it took a dark turn. They did plays and like ballet performances.
I'd be all about that.
I would have had to watch you. But then it got really dark and the leader was super rapey. It was just
like it.
Fine line between this is good for my soul and damn, this man's crazy ego has taken over and he is now a crazy cult leader.
Oh, yeah, that's not great.
It's fine line.
So be aware of that line and stay on the middle of it. Don't teeter into the ego too much, and don't teeter into the soul side too much. Because I feel like there's, again, these like religious and spiritual communities that criticize other people's spirituality and religious beliefs and how they're experiencing it. Like, first off, we're all different. We all experience the same situation differently, whether it's eating a same sandwich, you're going to taste it differently than I'm going to taste it. You're going to have a different reaction to it than I will. And it goes the same about everything, especially our religious and spiritual beliefs. Yeah. So sometimes I feel like people who are too on the soul side or too spiritual don't allow that grace for other people to have their own experience. They want them to have an experience like this. You're not meditating enough. You're not praying enough. You're not religious enough.
And if that's your answer to anything, you are totally living out of your ego, because the fact that you're trying to control someone into having the same experience as you or to think the same way as you, that has nothing to do with the soul whatsoever. That is complete and utter self-centeredness, slightly narcissistic, and many, many other things.
It's like you have this lens that only life can exist the way it has existed for you. And that's not fair, because you have different traumas in your childhood than this person did. And no one's competing to see whose is worse. we've all been through it.
Yeah.
And when we can kind of get out of that ego mind and go, oh, this is, you have your beliefs and that's for you to have based on your life and your experiences. And I allow you the space and time to have that.
Correct.
Ugh, it's so icky when some people try to like control, like especially our belief systems and integral values. Like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, you don't know anything about anybody else's life unless
like my soul's like, shoes. You don't give a shit about what this person thinks because they clearly don't honor you as an individual.
No, you just want to try to control someone's mindset.
Yeah,
you're probably halfway to being a cult leader.
And I feel like there's this like innocent part of being too much in the soul, where it really comes from a high level of integrity and wanting to do things for others. So much that they're involved with the community or their church or whatever it is. Yeah. And they tend to just do so much for others that they forget to pour into their own cup.
Correct. Yeah.
That's like very, very easy because especially I feel like a lot of us have been through some kind of childhood trauma that makes us want to always do things for other people. And we get praised. I think
a lot of people probably our age, especially, we kind of like, I don't want to say we're people pleasers, but I think all of us kind of suffer from.
I feel like there's a lot of people who are, and I think especially like the younger generations, because I think it came to us from the older generations that like in order to be viewed as good in the society, you have to do things for other people. Like,
I'm going to go ahead and get personal again because it seems like a good time to pop this one in here. So one of the other fun things that I've been dealing with besides crazy changes at work is still some growth within my family and just some ways that I'm probably living my life that people don't understand.
I think boundaries are getting tested and questioned. Like, I feel like you're protecting yourself by doing certain things and putting up certain boundaries. And now people are going, I don't like that. These boundaries are still here. I thought this was a phase.
Correct. So I'm very much in the process of still learning that people can only meet you where they're at.
Facts.
And one of the things that was mentioned to me is that that this person was very proud of me, which I appreciated. And I had mentioned that. But the conversation also took a turn of where I should tell other people that I do have harder boundaries with this information about my life and good things that are happening so that they can be proud of me too, because it's very important in life for other people to be proud of you. And I almost threw up. It's like, oh, this doesn't seem right. But I kept my tongue and I was just like, okay, thank you. And just kind of let it go there, because at the end of the day, in that moment, I realized that this person could only meet me where they were at.
Yeah. If for them, they need to hear from other people when they're proud of them to feel proud of themselves.
Also in that moment I became very aware of the fact that mindset was also then passed on.
Yeah.
And I am that person that's going, no, that's actually complete and utter horseshit. And I'm going to go ahead and just be proud of myself. But I'm going to respect where you're at because that's just where you are.
Yeah.
But I am that one that's going to go a step above because that's not true. How you should live your life at all.
Exactly. The thing that makes me ick about it, I feel ick around your situation because people are like not realizing that, like not allowing you to just go, I'm recognizing that this is how you live your life. And here I am choosing to live it differently where I don't need those same things to fulfill myself. And I feel like you're just getting all this shit thrown at you for feeling that way and expressing that. That's like the icky part. Like, just let me live. Like, I know that my boundaries may not make you feel comfortable, but it's what I need to make me feel comfortable.
And at the end of the day, I feel like if anybody in that situation, if you feel the need to like question the healthy boundaries that someone else is putting up in a different relationship that isn't even involving yours, you probably need to walk around and check your own boundaries because because I've grown and I'm not here to lash out at people or judge people on where they're at in their journey. I'm very much realizing the ignorance maybe and just blindness to people's own situations. They would rather focus on someone else's situation and the thing that they maybe don't agree with without actually checking their own
and looking within
situation and seeing if maybe they should probably do some work in their own relationships and things like that as well. So
and that's when this is a perfect example of you finding balance. You have to tap into your ego to go, no, these are my needs and I need to protect my peace. and my soul. You're protecting your soul, but you're also giving grace to these people who are judging you for doing that and going, you're just not at a place where you can see it in this way because you're the cause and the
you're in the cycle and I'm stepping out of it.
Exactly. Yeah. And like they're still stuck in this cycle and you're seeing it from outside of that cycle.
That's probably why this episode made me feel so gross, because I'm just like, I'm literally living it. And that's probably also why in the beginning I was so like, no, you embrace that ego a little bit, because it really does help you sometimes. It's your human way of guarding your soul.
Yeah.
It's the gatekeeper to your soul.
Exactly.
You don't want the gatekeeper to have too much energy, because at the end of the day, the soul is, I'm still the queen. Yes. My soul is my queen.
The highest self.
But my ego is my gatekeeper, and she is protecting the queen, but I still have to make sure that the queen is still in charge.
Yeah. That both are in check.
Yeah.
They both got to be in check.
Exactly.
That's
beautiful and horrible at the same time.
Yeah. I think it's a great time to go to tarot time.
I will say we were flipping, and the first card that flipped over was the Fool, which to me is new beginnings.
Yes, and this is a new season. We are here for it.
I also have new cards.
Yes.
Still at the front.
Yeah.
I got these from a bestie. They are office tarot cards. This is the Fool. This was the one that popped out first, so I know I have to shuffle it up, but
oh my God,
I love them and I can't wait for them.
I love the office and the cards. We literally sat and went through every single.
They're freaking amazing.
They're so good. I can't wait to see what pops out.
I know.
So while Ashley shuffles her cards, we're going to take in 3 deep breaths, nice and even for 3 counts, and then 3 counts on the exhale. Starting now. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Again. Exhale. Last one. And exhale. Oh man, I cannot wait to see.
I haven't shuffled cards in a long time. I'm sorry if this is like a crusty. Unfortunately or fortunately, when I'm going through it, I tend to kind of shut off my third eye a little bit.
Her third eye gets a little lazy.
She gets sleepy, and it's probably just because I can't, like, I'm already taking in enough around me, and like my
the eyes
physical
like
state, my third eye is like, oh girl, you can't be dealing with dead people too. That's going to be too much.
I'm seeing too much.
I think it's just the way I like protect myself.
All right.
I'm not even sure where to go with all this. Okay, so I feel like that's
so good. I know.
So we have the 2 of Pentacles. We have Jim there with the 2 of Pentacles.
Oh, is he balancing?
He is trying to balance. Again, I'm always wonder sometimes how much of me comes through on a reading. So I do apologize, but I have a feeling that a lot of people are going through.
Yeah. I always feel like, well, and here's the thing about our episodes. I feel like when you listen to this reading, it's prevalent for you and us today, but I sometimes feel like it's prevalent for the listener, whether they listen to it in 3 weeks, 3 months.
Whenever they get to it. Exactly. Whenever you're meant to hear it is when you hear it.
Exactly.
So I just happen to be hearing it in real time.
Yep.
We also have the Fool. He also the little puppy. I mean, we're going to get personal again. So I lost we'll dedicate this episode to Mr. Jackson. So I was lucky enough to one day decide that I was going to get a Yorkie, and I swear I manifested his little life. So about like 13, 14 years ago, I stumbled upon Mr. Jackson, and he was my baby. He was my ride or die. And he unfortunately passed away about a month ago, actually, Tuesday. Yeah. It's the 27th, 28th of January. So yeah, like, there's a lot that's been happening in 2023.
2023 has been interesting.
I definitely feel like this is slightly for me, but probably for anybody else that hears it. We also have the Knight of Pentacles, and we have the 9 of Swords, which
literally us
freaking my life right now. So I don't know what order this is necessarily going in.
I think it's kind of just like, I'm feeling like
it's a mix of everything. Yeah. I feel like this reading is very much a reminder that though life may be having you try to balance that ego and that soul, and God, it feels horrible.
Yes, it's just like,
that it is a reminder that at the end of this, there will be new beginnings, and there's going to be some serious growth.
Yeah.
Your gatekeeper is going to get their life together. I imagine my little gatekeeper has a helmet on because it needs a helmet.
Terrible.
Life is crazy. But there's definitely new beginnings coming, and that you're going to find that happiness, and you are going to find that, big gold coin, that victory at the end of all of this crusty, icky balancing and growth and wanting to punch people in the throat sometimes.
That's amazing.
That's where I'm at with that.
Yes. I think that was a really good message for today, and with everything and trying to balance the ego
really
and soul.
It's literally the perfect balance of crusty, disgusting. Happy times are coming.
Yep.
And I really like it.
Check yourself to protect yourself.
Yes.
Oh, well, I want to thank you guys so much for listening and for there even being a season 2. We've had some great messages about season 1, and that's what keeps us going despite life being crazy and busy and all these things. We are really trying to get some episodes together for everyone because we love it. And we love
we're going to have some guests coming up and stuff too. Some good friends of ours.
Exciting. Again, Ashley does readings through her Facebook page, Positive Place. And I do my crystal therapy. You can find me at thehiddengemlv.com or on Facebook, The Hidden Gem LV. And I just want to thank you all so much again. And to remember to stay spiritual.
Yes. Where's the button? Am I going to find it? Yes. Bye, everybody.
Bye.